What do you do if you are in an otherwise wonderful relationship and your sex life simply sucks? This is a far more common occurrence than many of us realize. And as somebody who devotes my days to supporting people with this and other kinds of intimate and erotic experiences, I'm here to tell you it's not actually an insurmountable problem necessarily. I'm Darshana Avila, your guide to all things erotic wholeness. So glad to be here with you. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, you're going to want to do that so that you don't miss out on any of these nuggets. Okay, so back to the what to do with an otherwise wonderful dynamic. You might be great partners, you might be great friends, you might be great playmates. You do life together well, you communicate pretty well. And yet, on the physical level, the alignment just is not there. So, for starters, the number one thing that is often missing is learning how to have really honest conversations about what you like, what you want, and what the challenge is. There's a tendency to speak in kind of vague terms, if you're doing that at all, of like, yeah, sex life sucks. What are we actually saying there? What is the desired or hoped for experience that you would like to be sharing with your partner? This brings us then to some self intimacy inquiry. Many of us don't know the answer to that question. We might again have a sense of like, I want to feel more connected. I want it to feel easier. I want it to feel more playful, which are all wonderful things. But if we don't know the true nature of our eroticism and of our desire, it's going to be really hard to shape something with another person that hits those high notes. So, having a sit down when you are both like really resourced and open hearted and open minded is a great way to go. Having a third person, like a guide, there with you is absolutely going to get you more bang for your buck if it's someone who really knows their way around these terms. What often happens is we have hidden desires that we might be, and I'm going to borrow a term from a colleague of mine, desire smuggling. So, for instance, we might say, okay, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and give you a massage because it's a means of physical connection. When really what we want is to actually have like a super steamy, sexy experience with our partner. And that underlying desire is not being named. And then we're building up resentment and also skipping out on the opportunity to let the other person in on the thing that would really work for us. Again, we're assuming that you have an otherwise great relationship here. And so, if that is the truth, chances are good, even if it feels new, feels scary, feels edgy to you, that having a frank conversation of this nature is going to be a game changer for you. Another thing that often comes up, and I actually just had this with a couple who I worked with all week last week, where a big piece of what was going on is that neither one of them felt especially confident in their skills as a giver. Never mind being on the receiving end of what their partner was offering, they held back because they didn't feel like they were going to do a good job for one another. So, acquiring the skills about the things that you are interested in, just like this applies to any other aspect of your life, it has a place in your sex life as well. Good touch can be taught. Techniques can be taught. Energetic expressions, power dynamics, all of these things actually can be taught. And there's no shame in what we don't know. If we're open and eager to learn, so much possibility opens up from that place. So, again, from the clarity of what it is that you actually are hoping for and the vulnerability of saying, yeah, I don't feel super confident in this, you now find yourself in a position to bring some creativity and potentially some solutions here into the mix of your intimate life. You want to learn how to bring some bondage into the bedroom? There are books, there are classes, there are coaches, a million ways to go about that. You want to learn how to give a really amazing, full bodied, sensual massage? That is a teachable skill. So, being vulnerable about the truth of where you are feeling less skillful and less confident, talking about it with one another, again, this is going to set the stage for you to be able to connect. Now, there is also the possibility that there might be incompatibility between you. It is rare that two people who like and love each other and have a great relationship in many other ways are 100% of a perfect match for one another, sexually speaking. That is not the be all end all when you can find where enough overlap happens so that each of you is getting some of your core erotic energy into the mix, the themes and the things that are compelling for you. You can learn how to play with those, again, be really creative. And then also, possibly, you might seek outside of your relationship to get some of those needs met if it's not available for you there. That's a whole other conversation. I know many people have different feelings about that, but there are options for how you can outsource. And that is something that a good coach or a therapist can absolutely guide you in. And I'll just name them for you so you can have a little bit of insight there. Options on outsourcing, you work with a professional. You could also have an open relationship where you're navigating different forms of conscious and ethical non monogamy. You could outsource in the form of cheating. It's real. People do it all the time. And if we don't acknowledge that that option might be compelling for us, then we are more likely to be undermining the trust that is there in our relationships. So, a lot of things to think about here. But what I really want to place the emphasis on is communication is at the heart of all of this. Being able to talk about where that miss is and then really come together collaboratively from that place of vulnerability, openness, honesty. That's the thing that is going to help you leverage all that's going really well in your relationship and bring that into your intimate life. If I can be of service to you, you should go ahead, check out my website, see what's on offer. Perhaps we can do some deep diving one on one work. And either way, I look forward to seeing you back here on YouTube soon. Take care.